Welcome back to our new show called Duel of the Debates, where we get together and we fight to the death about a question related to movies. Ooh, we got some sound effects. I like that. Yeah, so this is our show. Dan.
Yeah, I'm here. I was pressing the buttons. I was pressing fun buttons. Yeah, so Duel of the Debates, our new podcast here. As Danny said, we fight to the death. We have...
One of us will die.
Yep. Well, no, maybe, no. So, Danny, we have rules, correct?
Yes, we do.
All right,
there's rules here?
There's
I thought
rules.
this was a lawless
Oh,
wasteland.
yeah, well, we got
We also have guests.
We have guests here as well. So we got
fighters.
James and Cameron. They're back again for 2 weeks in a row. They're going to have one more after this, too. We're going to have 3 weeks of these guys.
And you guys wore the same clothes.
Whoa, imagine that.
Imagine that.
We're very consistent people.
Yes, you are.
I have 3 shirts.
All right, Danny, let's get to the rules.
All right, the rules. We have the objective is to convince the judge why your pick for the question is correct and the other fighters are stupid and wrong.
Yep.
But the arguments need to be objective. There needs to be reasoning behind why you chose your answer. There needs to be civility because we're all friends here. Mm-hmm. And the objectivity for the judge is when deciding the winner, the arguments need to be based on what we have said in our arguments. I like Danny's pick because he's amazing is not an acceptable reasoning because even though it's true, it's just not an
It
acceptable.
was true last week. You won.
I did
You
win.
won last week.
I did win last week.
The opening arguments will be 1 minute per fighter. Rebuttal arguments 1 minute per fighter. There will be a free-for-all section where we're going to be stopped at the judge's discretion if once we start getting into a loop.
Or I have a question.
Question, or we run out of time. Closing arguments 1 minute per fighter.
All right. So, oh no, wrong thing. Oh, no.
Not the timer. Start! You're going now!
There we go.
Go! Duel of Debates. Find us on Instagram and TikTok. My name's Danny.
Yeah,
Hi.
it is.
Hi,
Danny. I'm James.
Oh, hi, James.
I think that's the idea. We have to even out the testosterone of the intro. With
Like,
just a little-
Let's
Hi there.
set expectations where they belong. We're going to fight to the death, but be sweet about it.
All right. I have chosen the order. Actually, no.
Well, what's the question?
Yes. The question.
What is the question?
What is the question? What is the best director with 5 or less
fuck
movies
this
in
one.
his catalog? Or her catalog.
It's his
Their catalog.
So we're
don't
going to
discriminate.
start with Danny. So, Danny, what is your pick?
I picked Martin McDonagh.
Hey, fuckhead!
What?
Don't say what, Dixon, when she comes in calling you a fuckhead.
Cameron.
I went with Jordan Peele.
Sink to the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
And James.
And I went with not 1, but 2. The Daniels.
Hey, that's like almost like what we do here.
It's the hosts.
Or the host.
Yeah, the
We haven't made any movies. We just
God.
we made half of a short film starring you.
And it's
Wow.
not
Only
complete.
you. I did
It's
not finish.
incomplete, yeah.
I don't know if
asked.
James is going to win this one, quite honestly.
It's because I'm kissing up.
we're
and
not
choosing
good.
The Daniels.
All right. Danny, you were going to start. So
Wow.
whenever you are ready, let me know.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. 3,
Take any notes.
2, 1, there you go.
Martin McDonagh. He is Irish.
Irish.
He is single-handedly making Irish actors the forefront of his movies. With Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell. And Colin Farrell is having a great career now with The Penguin. Colin Farrell, he did In Bruges. Very good kind of assassin spy comedy-ish type thing. Kind of screwball-ish comedy thing. Lots of fun. It was one of his first movies that he's ever done. It's great. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think won a few Oscars. 2 Oscars. Which he did, and so he's relevant now. He just did Banshees of Inisherin, which was nominated for something. I don't think it
It was
won.
nominated for like 9 Oscars.
Nominated for 9. So
Shit ton.
people like it. And Seven Psychopaths. It was one of those really cool, quirky comedies that it's so funny and like, but it's like off kilter, but like in a great way that I think everybody can relate to, and he's very good.
Wow. All right. That
Totally dropped the ball in my compared to
Yeah.
yesterday or last week.
Yesterday. Jeez. All right.
We're all wearing the same clothes.
All right. Cameron.
Yes.
You are up with Jordan Peele.
Yes.
Go for it.
So, I mean, Jordan Peele got his start with a comedy duo on the Comedy Central channel called Key and Peele. Made some great inroads there. And then he kind of branched out and did horror. I remember when the first trailer came out, everyone said, what? Jordan Peele doing a horror movie? But I don't think that's quite big of a leap. I think horror and comedy are two sides of the same coin. It's all about setup and payoff. Jordan Peele has then kind of skyrocketed. That Get Out movie, a $4.5 million budget, became a worldwide success. I'd call it a cultural touchstone. Went on to win an Oscar. Let's think about his production company, Monkey Paw, who's really become a sign of quality. And so now he made Us in 2019, which I think is very much underrated. And then he eventually went on to Nope. The budgets have been getting slowly and slowly larger and larger. 4.5, 20, 68 million for Nope. And this is a COVID movie. And I think Nope is probably one of his most expansive films that's open to the most interpretation. And I find that to be really exciting. I'd say he's kind of like almost like the Kubrick of our time by really creating these worlds.
That is very big shoes to fill right there. All
Yes.
right. So, James.
I just need one moment. I need to check the name.
Sure. But yeah,
It's pronounced Daniel. And Daniel.
Oh, thank you.
Daniel Scheinert and Daniel Kwan.
Yes, I knew there it was. Thank you.
It's Daniel Radcliffe.
Yep, Daniel
He
Radcliffe.
is
Paul
in one of
Dano.
the movies,
Thank
indeed.
you. Thank
Paul
you.
Dano.
Dano?
Yeah,
That's how
it's-
you pronounce it?
No.
Oh, okay.
D''N''O.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
Well, Paul Dano used to be like, well, sort of is my dad's nickname for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dano.
Yeah, and I hate it.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that.
Well, no, he knows.
Gabori Sidibe.
No, I'm gonna start calling you that now.
That's why I was looking her up. Like, I was trying to remember her name.
Yeah.
Michelle
All
Yeoh?
right.
No, Gabori Sidibe.
Fuck you saying
Anyways.
to me?
I'll get to it in my opening.
All right. Opening argument starts now.
The Daniels have had an amazing career. They started as music video directors, including directing such iconic music videos like Don't Stop, Color on the Walls by Foster the People, which stars Gabori Sidibe, who was the main lead from Precious way back then. They also did the music video, which blew them up to major stardom, Turn Down for What, which elevated them to the mainstream and immediately got them movie deals. Now, Daniel Scheinert on his own did Death of Dick Long, but we're talking about the Daniels together. They've done 2 movies, Swiss Army Man, a complete cultural touchstone, which I think really helped elevate, put A24 on the map, on the charts. That would help blew them up to mainstream appeal. But then their second follow-up movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, made A24 a mainstream stay-at-home name. Everybody knows A24 now. And their second movie ever, Best Picture winner. Not nominee, winner. Plus other Oscars.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes, it's a very good.
Why you
start
you
there.
staring me down, bro?
Oh, I'm not going to stare down Cameron. Camera's there. My mic's here.
It's like intimidating.
All right, Cameron. We're gonna start with you for rebuttals.
Yeah.
Whenever you are ready, sir.
Yeah. So I personally think that the Daniels just need a better editor. I find Everything Everywhere All at Once to be a nice movie, but it's too long, and I find it to be a little bit too much. And I think my biggest problem with that movie is also that it tells us how to feel rather than letting us feel. That's something that I find it to be a little bit emotionally constrictive. My argument against Martin McDonagh is that I think he's a better writer than a better director. I find his films to be kind of theatrical in their presentation rather than really feeling cinematic with a capital C. I find In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths to be good, but I think Seven Psychopaths is more Tarantino pastiche than a unique movie. And Three Billboards for me is very much a movie about America made by a non-American. I think it really kind of bungles some race stuff that I'm not a huge fan of. I just want to keep underlying how great Jordan Peele is at really creating iconic images. The image of the close-up of Dan Kaluuya, the red jumpsuits of Us, and the spaceship of Nope.
Okay.
Spaceship.
Moving on to Danny. Whenever you are ready, sir.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go for it.
So the Daniels started off with music videos. I think their style of movie making and style of directing is it's just fucking weird. You know what I mean? And Don't Turn Down for What? I'm pretty sure there's a guy who farts through an apartment building or something like that.
He humps it with his boner.
Exactly. So you know what I mean? It's I think Everything Everywhere All at Once, it was just off the wall enough, but with enough sincerity to make sense for that particular version or whatever. So I just don't. I think it's too early to say that they're great. You know what I mean? Same thing with Jordan Peele, because he had, in my opinion, only one good movie. The other two are bogged down with metaphors and like Us. It makes no sense if you look into it even a little bit. Yeah. Nope. I think while it's interpretive, I didn't find it really that engaging. I thought it was just a bunch of stuff that
All right. Now we
moving
are moving on to James for yours. Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, and hit it.
So
wait, you already did a rebuttal.
No, I didn't.
Oh no.
No.
Okay. Sorry. Restart.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Restart.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
Danny sucks. All right, moving
Yeah.
on. James, go for it.
So I think Cameron hit it right on the head about Martin McDonagh, that he writes great movies. The directing is not necessarily there. And that's what we're talking about today. Directors, not what else they do in the movie, but how well they are at directing their movie. And there's nothing too visually interesting, stands out, iconic from those movies. The writing, absolutely there. Can't deny that. They're entertaining to watch and listen to, but directing, it's just plain falls flat. There's nothing special. It's not bad, but there's nothing special going on there. Jordan Peele, I think he's a bit, as a director, a bit of a one-trick pony. He kind of leans into the same idea for all his movies. He hasn't kind of expanded the sort of take he does. He goes for the same sort of horror comedy thriller movie, especially leaning into race, which I don't think that's to discredit him. It's an important topic to talk about and one very relevant to him.
Okay, and it's time for our free-for-all. So I will stop you with any questions I have.
Do you have any right now, Dan?
I do not have any right now. I want to hear more. So just go have at it, guys.
I just want to say about the Daniels, I think they really brought absurdism and surrealism movies into mainstream media. You would have never had people watching a movie like casually like Swiss Army Man back then. That was for movie fans, younger people that like that crazy, weird absurdism. Yes. But a general, movie-going audience wasn't going to see that. Everything Everywhere All at Once completely changed that, in my opinion, by bringing the match of real-life hardship and struggles and just complete, utter nothingness and bringing that absurdity and over-the-top and craziness and making it appealing to everybody. Right. My mom saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. You could not say that about that type of movie 20 years ago, but they brought it and made it mainstream and acceptable.
I don't know. Maybe. I agree it's more prestigious than like the average absurdist movie. Because like another movie I'm thinking of, like I saw the TV Glow. It's very interpretive, very like it also doesn't make you feel good. Everything Everywhere All at Once makes you feel good. Yeah. Swiss Army Man is too weird, and that's why I think like they refined it just enough to appeal to a mainstream audience and Everything Everywhere, and I think they hit the nail on the head there. But Swiss Army Man and Turned Down for What, very specific audiences, and I think because they've only made 2 movies together, I think they might be like a Shyamalan type thing, where like, or even Jordan Peele, like he's the next. You said he's the next Kubrick.
I think he's the next Kubrick.
He's only made 3 movies, and one of them I think is universally loved. The other 2 are like, what the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? Right. And so the Daniels hasn't been improved enough. Martin McDonagh, he's done 5 movies, or 4, and they've all consistently they've had different genres. They have different, or they've all each of them have. I think besides 7 Psychopaths have hit Oscars territory.
Yes.
And and I like you mentioned or somebody mentioned Jordan Peele's perspective on race.
James did.
The Martin McDonagh, sure, an outsider from America, he's looking at different topics and different lenses. He's playing with his perspectives on different types of issues. Jordan Peele, like you said, one trick pony. He's only looking at it from that angle.
See,
you know what I mean?
I would argue that Get Out is very much a movie about politics in a way, in the way that white liberals kind of maybe posit themselves as, being hip and whatnot. And I think Us is very much a movie about how America has to look themselves in the face and come to terms with our past.
Well, yeah, but it's I'm saying it's all through a lens of race. There's always that social race element.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but like why does every movie have to, like, Martin McDonagh can look at that in 3 Billboards, but he can also look at the absurdity of
well, yeah, but he can do it in a weak way. With 3 billboards, I think that's racially a very weak movie. But
in the way that Sam Rockwell's Redemption.
Yes. I feel like just because he feels bad because he has cancer, it's like, oh, I guess he's a good guy now. And I think also
Woody Harrelson's the one with cancer.
Oh,
not Sam Rockwell.
Thank you.
Well, the whole movie, I'd say the movie's more about him, more about Sam Rockwell, his arc, and
not about Frances McDormand.
Well, it's about her coming to terms with forgiving herself for what happened with her daughter.
Right.
But it's like 2 broken souls. They're both on complete opposite sides of the spectrum. They come together. They each find common ground. And I think that's especially in today's society with political views and everything. I think that it's almost that movie is really kind of important and kind of ahead of its time.
But it's so open and shut. For me, what I look for in a great director is somebody who gives me the clay to kind of figure out what the story is about. And I think that's what Jordan Peele really excels at, is kind of creating kind of these more open ideas about, how do we look at how we exploit animals in Nope, which I think has some racial undertones. And I don't think that's a bad thing that Jordan Peele is mostly focused on race things, because if we think of pre-2017 Get Out, how often was that a discussion in genre films, I think there were always undercurrents, personally. But I think that
it wasn't hit on the head or as directly as Jordan Peele did it.
Yes, but yeah.
Which is why I think that's his only great movie, though. I feel like people saw that one, like same thing with Shyamalan. Oh, Sixth Sense, it's so awesome. He's going to do great. And now everything is divisive after that for him.
I think Us is very much underrated. I think that film is so tight. I think
it's all over the place.
Every piece of dialogue is perfect in that movie.
No.
All the little Easter eggs that are kind of laid throughout it. And the idea that, it doesn't make any sense, then I don't know. I guess maybe a Ken Burns movie would be better than Us. Because, it's not a documentary. The whole movie is supposed to kind of, be kind of free-flowy and whatnot. And in the end, it's very much a movie about, maybe we are the people, the idea of, you have escaped from the lower parts of...
But what he's going for in Us is to explain that, the people that you shun and cast aside are actually good people, and they're not.
I don't know if they're necessarily good people. I think the idea is that they need to get out.
That's the other one.
The idea, they kind of have to.
Wrong one.
They deserve some sun. They deserve to not be buried, the idea of they're trying to get out. And then in this case, because it's a horror movie, they have to execute some kind of violent kind of retribution.
Okay. So Cameron, I like what you talk about the directing style and everything. I want the conversation to keep like Cameron is doing. So more directing stuff, less writing for stuff.
Gotcha.
Have at it.
Okay.
I think he would almost be a better cinema or movie poster guy. Because he has great imagery. I can't deny that. But
think about the tone. Think about how he works with Michael Abels and all the score stuff. The way he mirrors image and sound is just freaking perfect. The opening credits to Us.
Well, that's more editing, though.
No. The director is very much picking the shots and whatnot. I also think he does great work with actors. And that is something that I do want to talk about with Martin McDonagh, because I think he has really, really good relationships with his actors. And that's kind of what I prefer more about his direction than maybe his visual.
That's a large part of what directing is, though.
Yeah.
It's very similar to Wes Anderson, where you go into a movie, you kind of can guess who half the cast is going to be just from the director alone. You can pretty much assure Colin Farrell is going to be there, Brendan Gleeson,
and that's something that I like
Harrelson,
about Martin McDonagh. I like that about Martin McDonagh, is I think the way he has rhythm to his dialogue, I think, is really great. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really like Banshees of Inisherin, is because of the dialogue is so kind of dark and morose and funny in a way. That's something that I really like about Martin McDonagh.
He can find the comedy in these otherwise horrible situations.
Yes.
And I just agree with how how he's more of a, or he doesn't really have anything stand out with directing. I think especially in 3 Billboards. That's the one I think that everything kind of came to a head with him, where the iconic imagery of the three billboards, how it's revealed backwards. You know, like like what about Sheriff? Is it Donahue?
How come Chief Willoughby?
Yeah. But it keeps going. And you're like, what the fuck? And I like that. Like it could have just been your basic like we're driving by. Sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3. You know what I mean? And to have that backwards meaning, and then in a way that's almost how this mystery of what happened to her daughter is revealed. I like that kind of mirrors that, and and I like the little spotlights of how that movie is structured in the way that it's at first it's Francis McDormand's movie, then it's Woody Harrelson's for like 10 minutes, right? Then it's mostly Sam Rockwell's movie from there, and then it goes back to Francis, and then they all come together and it is a bit, this is what it is. Yeah. It tells you how to feel in some ways, but and
that's just my personal taste in film. I prefer something that's a bit more open.
Right.
That's
in the vein of directors working with characters that they like, actors that they like, the Daniels, I'd like to point out from their Turned Down for What music video. The lead female from that music video is in Everything
Michelle
Everywhere
Yeoh.
All at Once. No, it is not Michelle Yeoh.
I thought it was Michelle Yeoh.
Stephanie Soup?
No, it's neither that. Do you remember in the laundromat they're watching like some Indian romance movie thing on TV?
Yeah.
They're like dancing. They even have like at one point they're in the sausage finger universe, and it's just two Indian people dancing on a TV.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
That's her.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it didn't fit in with the Asian like Chinese American story that they were going for to have her in a role like that. It's like, well, we want you some way, write you in here. I think the guy might have also been in a previous thing of theirs. But they seem to have a good working relationship with their actors, and I mean to get the performance they got out of Daniel Radcliffe had to have taken some serious. Who knows what they did, but to tell him, all right, you're sitting here, you're dead, but you're not, and also you're just farting uncontrollably violently. I can't imagine how they presented this movie, how they got this movie allowed and passed, how they got people to sign on to this movie, and how it became so successful. That has to take some serious directing talent to take this completely batshit crazy idea of a dead guy that farts a lot, and that is a savior for this lost man on this deserted island. To turn that into a well-received movie, has to take some real talent.
Only A24 can make that.
Yeah.
You mentioned A24 got put on the map from Swiss Army Man. Yeah. I would say Foxcatcher did that more in a sense. That and
Hereditary. A24.
It wasn't? Oh, fuck me. Oh, no, Whiplash.
No.
Fuck me.
Woof.
Whiplash is technically Blumhouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which it's very bizarre. I would argue Spring Breakers was
Spring Breakers was the first one.
That was like
for
the
me,
big first one.
Yeah. That and
but that also wasn't well received at the time.
No, I mean Harmony Korine,
All right.
Yeah.
But I'd say Hereditary did that on another level.
Yeah.
Because that one's now we got Hereditary, Midsummer. They're considered in Beau is Afraid. They're all kind of considered modern classic horror movies. I still say to this day, Hereditary is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. And so when I think A24, I don't think Swiss Army Man. Now I think Everything Everywhere. But it's again they just haven't done enough.
I would put Moonlight in there. I think Moonlight was kind of their big break.
Oh, that was the Oscar. Yeah. Best picture.
Dan, did you have a question?
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
I had a question for Cameron.
Okay.
So actually, this is gonna be a question to all of you. Actually, so we'll start with Cameron.
Yes, I know I'm awesome.
Shut the fuck up. So, Cameron, can you go into a little more detail on specifically Nope?
Yeah.
I want to hear more about the directing style of Nope. So
yes. Yeah. I think Nope is very much a film that spends its time very, very deliberately. The way we're kind of slowly being lulled into this rhythm of the farm, where we're kind of there's lots of long takes of OJ out on the ranch, and then the pace slowly starts to pick up as we're starting to get more visits from the alien, and then eventually by the end you're off to the races. I mean, that Abel score is pumping. OJ's riding down the stretch. I do want to point out there's a great essay on Mubi, MUBI, about how Nope interacts with Western genre tropes, and also somebody makes a very good point that it ends up being very funny that eventually we start cheering for a guy named OJ riding a white Bronco running away from a giant alien. The writer is better at articulating that point, but that's something that I did want to bring up. So I think what Jordan Peele excels at in Nope is creating space, creating atmosphere. I think the atmosphere of Nope is really, really strong. Especially, I remember when I first saw Nope when the neighboring kids come out in the alien costumes, and I was getting like vibes from Signs, if we want to connect M. Night and Jordan, and I was like, is that actually what it is? Are these the aliens? And it's like, no. It ends up being something far more creative and this gorgeous spaceship / alien. Love it.
Okay.
Did that answer the question, Dan?
Yes, thank you. Anybody have a rebuttal to that before I move on to the next person?
I would just like to say, and it immediately left my head. There's been all this comparison about Jordan Peele. He's the next Kubrick, or nah? He's a bit more of a Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Just like to say, there's no one like the Daniels. They are the first of their kind, in my opinion. Maybe related to last week's, you could credit Tom Green to a little bit of them, but I refuse. I don't think you can make that comparison with the Daniels like you could, like, Jordan Peele's the next Kubrick, next Shyamalan, or McDonagh's the next whatever.
Thank you.
I just think McDonagh has proven himself with 4 movies, all different genres. There's like straight up drama. There's drama or comedy drama. There's straight up comedy, and then there's drama.
I was about to say, so they're all just like the same genre, really.
Well, in different lenses, though.
Are
There you
they?
go.
Different lenses, sure, but I'd say all 4 are the same genre. I haven't seen Seven Psychopaths. The 3 that I have seen seem the same genre.
Yeah.
Seven Psychopaths is more like a folklore of with comedy, with what what Cameron said with Tarantino. It definitely is a mix of that.
Yeah. I would say, it's almost kind of going back to one of my favorites, Wes Anderson, the idea where people always say, oh, you just remade the same movie a bunch of times. I don't think so. I think it's a filmmaker who has very similar kind of keynotes that they like to hit, But I think overall the stories feel different enough.
Yeah.
I think, with Martin McDonagh, you've got time period differences.
Why are you helping me?
Differences. Well, no, because quite honestly, I do like all of these directors, but I feel like Jordan Peele is a stronger storyteller than everyone at this table. I find him to be far more interested in kind of, character. I find the protagonist of Get Out stronger. Dan Kaluuya. Where's Lupita Nyong'o's Oscar for Us? That's something I'm a little lost at.
Maybe half of the performance.
Hold up.
Oh, come on.
We're going into our closing arguments
Weird.
now.
Just reminded me of Ralph Fiennes,
Yeah.
Ray Fiennes, and In Bruges. In Bruges. I loved him.
So, Danny, we're going to start with you for closing. Are
Okay.
you ready?
Yep.
Go.
Again, the Kwans, or why do I keep saying the Kwans? The Daniels. I think they just had a good mix for Everything Everywhere. I think it's too soon to tell. Jordan Peele has had a couple more chances, even with Twilight Zone, and and then he's doing this other show, Scare Tactics. I think it looks shitty.
Okay.
Is he doing The Monkey? I don't know.
He produced the.
He's had opportunities, just doesn't mix. The Daniels, I don't think they're sustainable. I don't think they're gonna maintain their appeal. And I think because they're so absurd is because it's fresh and new right now. I don't think we're gonna look back on their next movies in the future and we'll be like, these guys are so great. They're the best directors with under 5 movies. Like, they've made a name for themselves with 2 movies, but I feel like Martin McDonagh has done more with his 5 movies.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Cameron. Whenever you are ready, sir.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I think the thing is that Jordan Peele is just a far more well-rounded filmmaker. I think he's somebody who excels at character, at atmosphere, at rhythm. And I think that's something that I feel is kind of lacking from our other filmmakers mentioned here today. I think there's strong points in all 3 filmmakers. There are lots of movies that were discussed today that I love a lot, but I don't think I love him as much as Jordan Peele. And I think he's also somebody who's just going to keep growing. I think he's very much on an upward trajectory, and I'm really excited to see what he brings to us next. And all three of these movies that he's made are infinitely rewatchable for me, and I look forward to keep revisiting, to keep seeing them grow. And I could see somebody writing a giant textbook on Jordan Peele and the way that all of his films kind of interweave with each other but still feel unique and can stand on their own. I just feel lucky, really, to have seen Jordan Peele kind of blossom as a filmmaker. And he's also somebody who clearly loves the genre that he works with.
Thank you very much. And moving on to James, whenever you're ready.
All right, yeah, I'm ready.
Hit it. Let's go, James. Yeah.
So I think Jordan Peele, like we said before, a bit of a one-trick pony. He does a lot of same things. I think he's very good at what he does, but he is a jack of all trades. I wouldn't go so far as to say a master of none. He's good at a lot of things, but I think because of that, he gets spread thin and not everything gets his full focus because he's a great star. He's a great director. He's also a great producer. He does a lot in the movie industry, and I think because of that, it sort of stretches him a little bit thinner when he comes to being a director and leads him into following the same routine for his movies. Martin McDonagh, we touched on this. I think he's a great writer, great at doing the characters and getting that sort of side of the film set up. But as a director, there's nothing super intriguing, nothing that interesting about him. The Daniels, however, I think have brought absurdity and absurdism to mainstream media for everybody, and they are making it where
You can finish your thought.
I was just going to say they brought Gen Z. They helped elevate Gen Z movie making to the next level. I don't think we would have had movies like Bottoms without the Daniels.
All right, thank you. Okay. Well, you all had some very good points here throughout all of these, but it is time for the final decision.
Who won?
That's a good question.
Easy, son. All right.
I want to know who won.
Well, let's start with you. Let's start with you. I'm not going to say you won until the very end after I talk about
means I didn't
Starting
win.
with you means you didn't win.
Let's start with you.
So, Martin McDonagh. Yes, I agree with Cameron. He's a better writer than director. But he is very good at doing dramas, as you said. Very good at bringing the characters out of these, the people, the actors. That's the word. Jesus Christ.
I couldn't think of it either.
The humans.
Yeah, they
said the characters.
What we are.
He can find the comedic beats that are throughout these movies that he's done. In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths, Three Billboards, and Banshees. But yeah, well structured. I know you like structure. They are very well structured movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to Jordan Peele. Is he Kubrick? Is he Shyamalan? I mean, that's a great question.
Is he Tom Green?
Yeah. So how do we, I like how you said, how do we look at these movies as, more open topics? Like he can bring all these little things out of, they may be the same types of things, horror, thriller, comedy, as James said. But that's what you want in horror. You want it to start a little slow and then really pick up the pace. And with these little beats in there to give it, some kind of oomph, if you will. And we always look forward to seeing Jordan Peele's movies. Some not so good things. Yeah, he only has 3 movies, and they're all kind of the same thing. So moving on to Daniels. Absurdism. / Tom Green. So that is the first thing I have written down because I was like, Cameron's right about that. But the struggle is real in both of their movies they have created. Different kinds of struggles, but struggles indeed. Daniel Radcliffe, I liked what you were talking about him, and it made me think of Poor Things with Emma Stone because he's trying to go from, this character who's is basically not alive or a baby, and then becomes their own person by the end. So it's a very cool thing there. They reminded me about that.
Daniel Radcliffe is a full-grown man.
So is Emma Stone, but woman?
With the brain.
But woman.
Technically with the brain
can they
of a man.
maintain their appeal with only 2 movies done so far?
That's a good question.
So,
And many music videos.
I do not think the Daniels
At least 10.
are the best out of these three so far. So
Wait, what?
sorry, James. The Daniels are out.
Daniels.
Sorry, James.
Let's see. Usually I have a star next to the one I want to win. I didn't have a star because both of you guys had really, really good points.
So you're telling me you're going into this with a bias?
No, while we were writing, because I was listening to your points.
Gotcha.
Jeez, not.
We said no biases, Dan.
No,
God.
not before we
I know I'm
started.
awesome, but
Not
you can't pick me every time.
Not before we started. This is as I was writing, as you guys were debating.
We understand.
So, man,
I like getting it.
I'm gonna have to say Jordan Peele is probably going to win because Martin McDonagh is more of a writer than a director. I like his directing style, but it's not as creative as the Daniels or Peele, and you like to see creativity in some directors. You like to see how they perform in different genres. I mean, dramas, you can't really get creative with them as much, I guess, but it's just to their own particular tastes, I guess, and what they're good at. I'd love to see Martin McDonagh do some kind of weird-ass horror movie, because that
Body
would be
horror.
really cool.
Yeah, I feel like The Dead Don't Die. I feel like he could do something like that.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah. All right, well, Jordan Peele is our winner for
Yay.
today.
Cameron.
Thank
Jordan.
you, Cameron. Nicely done.
Ching, ching, ching.
We are Duel of the Debates. You can find us on. So where's the show letter third? There it is. Danny, we can find us on just at Duel of the Debates on Instagram and
At Duel of the
TikTok, it
Debates,
looks
yes.
like. Yeah,
Yes, it
cool,
is,
cool.
yeah.
And I'm Dan. You
spelled
can
that right.
find me. You can find me on Letterboxd with DonutMan96.
I'm Danny. You can find me on Instagram at Danny_Was, by Letterboxd and Serialized at DJ Was, or on my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was. You guys.
I'm James. You can find me on Letterboxd at James81XA.
Nice.
Find me on Letterboxd at Cam Kircher, where I have plenty of other takes and opinion.
You watch so many movies.
It's exhausting.
You've seen more movies in a week than I've seen all year.
Yeah.
All right.
And movies I've never heard of. What the fuck?
And next time on Duel of the Debates, we have TV shows that could have been a movie. So tune in next time.
Excited for that one.
That's going to be a good
We're
one.
Duel of the Debates. And until then, we'll see you next time.